Welcome, folks. It's time to do the drawing for the two winners for the 4,000 subscriber, 2 million viewer video. I know I'm a bit late. Of course, that has to do with a lot of the Thanksgiving stuff and holidays, shit going on. So I just really honestly haven't had the time to print out the names, get the drawing ready. And I also wanted to do another collection video or two with you guys. So I've decided to go and show you in a little bit more detail some of my my guide collection. I don't have 100% of it out, and 97.5% of it is, of course, in the boxes with the PC games, because if the hit book fits in the box of the PC game, that's where I store it. And a lot of the old school Sierra game hint books and things like that, they're real tiny. They were small enough to fit in the box, so that's, of course, where I kept them. One day I'm going to go into a nice, in-depth look at my board game collection. Probably when I start to get some more of the Kickstarter stuff that I have. I figured I'd go ahead and do some of the game guides. And I'm also going to show you my handheld collection, which basically just consists of the Game Boy Advance and onward. Or actually Game Boy Color and onward. I don't have a Game Boy Color per se, not that I recall anyways, who knows. But anyways, let's check out some of the guides. I don't always use guides, but I like owning them. I feel like owning the guide to an RPG game is a great way to find those esoteric secrets, the things that you can't really find on your own, or you might not happen across even through several playthroughs. And honestly, between my channel and the amount of games I'm trying to beat in my lifetime, I don't have fucking time to play through a game more than, once or twice. I'm a pretty big fan of Final Fantasy. I will agree with most Final Fantasy fanboys that it's kind of gone downhill in terms of what I personally like within the Final Fantasies. But I do have pretty much all the Final Fantasy guides. That's the original 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 Part 2, 11. I even played the online for a little bit. That's the 12. The Chronicles, which was the earlier games that was released on PlayStation. Also Anthology. And I have Origins. It's just not unpacked. I also have Crisis Core. I believe this is for the PlayStation PSP, which I've actually sold. I no longer do PSP games. I just never was using it. And honestly, I'm at an age in a time in my life where I don't need to have a bunch of handheld systems. I decided to just focus on the Game Boy, the DS, things like that. I think by far it has a much better catalog. And I'm also going to show off my little collection. Nothing major, but I do have, 30, 40 handheld games. And then I also have the hardback Final Fantasy 13 Collector's Edition. I'm also a big Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest fan. So I have pretty much all their guides. These aren't in order. Arc the Lad, Breath of Fire, Chrono Cross, Star Ocean, just all kinds of guides in there. Wild Arms is another franchise I like a lot. There's the Mass Effects. So I don't want to go through pulling all these out, but this is pretty much the gist of my guides. I even have these shitty World of Warcraft guides. Dragon Age Origins. Plan on LPing that sometime. There's the Oblivion guide. The Bioshock. Disgaea. Disgaea's a good game. I really haven't got into it too much. Here's the Baldur's Gate 2 Throwing a Ball guide, which I'll probably pull out once we get to that part of the expansion. Also have the Metroids. Dark Clouds, another RPG I like a lot. And then I have basically my Zelda collection. I'm a big Zelda fan. Always have been. I find it hard to believe anyone wouldn't be. This is the collector's edition for the complete. This is the GameCube edition that they released with Zelda 1, 2, Ocarina, and Majora's Mask. Then I have the Wind Waker GameCube version. Four Swords GameCube version. The Minch Cap for Game Boy Advance. The Wind Waker. Ocarina of Time, of course. This is the Versus official guide. A little beat up there. And then this is also the Versus official guide to Majora's Mask. I also have Skyward Sword Premier Edition. I have the Phantom Hourglass Premier Edition. You can see the little glittery sparklies. And then I also have the Collector's Edition of Twilight Princess. The Collector's Edition of Spirit Tracks, which is the Game Boy DS game. Oh! And I just got this in the mail. This is the official Legend of Zelda chest that has books from... This thing is fucking heavy, by the way. Let me turn this around here. This has all these collector's guides. It's got the hardback edition of Ocarina of Time 3D, Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. It's also got a laser-etched metallic bookmark and a certificate of authenticity numbered by Mr. E.G. Aonuma. Aonuma, however you say his fucking name. But this is a nice, high-quality chest. Shit. I need a third arm. But yeah, heavy box. It's got a little metallic clasp. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm leaving it sealed for now. But I just got that in the mail. Also I like Darksiders, the franchise for Darksiders. I have a bunch of their statues, which I'll be showing in another video someday. This is, of course, the Skyrim guide. And I also have, as you can see here, the hardback version of Skyrim sealed. Xenosaga. This is another Final Fantasy 12 book. I'll set that over there with the others. God of War, another franchise I love. I have all his books in hardback. Diablo 3, BioShock, Ni no Kuni. A lot of people hated on Ni no Kuni. From what I played of it, was pretty cool. Fallout, hardback guides, of course. There's the New Vegas guide. And the Fallout 3 hardback. Mass Effect Collector's Edition for the third game. And Dead Space Collector's Edition hardback. Then I have some of the PC games down here. Pool of Radiance. Here's the Neverwinter Nights. Shadows of Under and Tide guide. Hordes of the Underdark guide. My other Neverwinter Nights guide is, of course, in the computer room. I've got one of these old Quest for the Clue guides, which had a bunch of different games in it. Here's a bunch of the Might and Magics 6, 7, 8, and 9. Everything before that is, of course, in the box with the game. Icewind Dale 2, Ultima 9. Throw that in the fucking toilet. Got the official book of Ultima. I got a couple of these older Ultima guides that are pretty rare to find now. There's Master Ultima, which goes up to part 6, 1 through 6. Then I have the official book of Ultima, which even includes the NES ones. Ultima Online. And then I have Ultima 9. Almost embarrassing to show. Lands of Lore 2 and 3. And Vampire the Masquerade, which a lot of people want me to LP, and I'll get to it eventually one day. We're going to do the drawing at the end of this video. So you'll have to suffer with it, or you'll have to click on the little buffering bar and skip ahead. If you do that, you're a fucking ass muncher. Let's take a look at... let me stand up here. I'm getting fucking old. Let's take a look at the Handheld collection. Yes. Alright, some of the DS stuff I like. Legacies of Ease, Book 1 and 2. Like that game. I'm a big fan of this Etrian Odyssey. I would love to LP these, but my DS time, my handheld time is time for me. That's stuff that I really don't plan on ever LPing. It's for when I just want to kick back and not have to record and not have to do voices and shit like that. And this is a pretty epic RPG. You actually map the game as you go through it. Sorry about the glare. But the E-Train Odyssey series, I actually have part 3 on the way and part 4. I recently picked up another 3DS, which we'll show in a second. I got Worms. You gotta love Worms. Beautiful Joe. What else? I got some Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy 3 and 4 for the DS. Here's the other E-Train Odyssey. This is the first one. I'm a pretty big Castlevania fan, especially the original 2D style. I'm not so big on the newer 3D ones, but I love the old Symphony of Night style games. I'm a big fan of Castlevania 1. I even love 2, Simon's Quest. I thought it was a good game. I don't know why everyone's bitching like a bunch of little hoe bags. Mazes of Fate. This is a cool D&D type-ish role-playing game. Another Castlevania down here. Order of Ecclesia. And Metroid, Mystery Dungeon, Metal Slug 7. Can't really see too good. Hercules. Chloe of Hercules is pretty cool. Professor Layton's Curious Village is a good puzzle game. There's Final Fantasy 11. I got the Ace Attorneys, Justice, Orcs and Elves. Pull these out here. That's another cool little RPG-ish type game. Zelda Spirit Tracks, Zelda Phantom Hourglass, and I recently got my first 3DS game, A Link Between Worlds. I actually bought a physical copy of this, even though a digital one came with the Zelda I got. I did buy the Zelda Edition 3DS. This is it here. This is the XL. And I think the graphics look phenomenal. Some people were bitching about the screen size, but I think there's no pixelation or any of that shit. The graphics are crisp. Crisp as nuts. I also like the Golden Sun series. Anything RPG oriented, Gamehorder is gonna fucking add to the collection. This is an epic RPG right here. The Dark Spire. This harkens back to the old school days right here. If you're into like old school wizardry, might and magics, you need to check this game out. Calling all fans of classic first-person role-playing games. Parties shall be assembled, stats shall be rolled, items, weapons, and armor shall be equipped, monsters shall be slain. It's even got a classic mode, which you can see there a little bit in the upper right corner. It's all black and white stenciling. But this is one where you're going to be making your own maps, getting lost, teleport puzzles. I mean, that's just an epic game there. Obviously, I got the Dragon Quest 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 so far for the DS. What else do we got? That's pretty much it for my DS collection there. Then I have some other old school games for the Game Boy Color and Advance that I had to have. Shadow Gate being one of them for Game Boy Color. Eye of the Beholder. You know I gotta own that. This is actually a mixture of the first-person game and the SSI Gold Box games. When you go into combat, you actually fight like the old combat for the SSI Gold Box, Pool of Radiance, things like that. I have the Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls on this as well, even though I own it on PlayStation. Dragon Warrior 3. Dragon Warrior is basically Dragon Quest, but it was renamed Dragon Warrior when it came to the States. R-Type. Loved R-Type growing up. Huge R-Type fan. I used to have R-Type on my TurboGrafx, I believe. TurboGrafx 16 back in the day when I had that. First Nintendo game I ever owned. It was actually underneath the Christmas tree with my Nintendo and Rob the Robot. Ghosts and Goblins. So I had this and Gyromite and Duck Hunt were my first 3 Nintendo games. Basically the first year, the first Christmas that the Nintendo was released, I owned one. And Ghosts and Goblins. I remember I was so noobish at games, I couldn't figure out how to jump over the first tombstone because I wasn't, I was trying to run through it. I didn't bother hitting the jump button. So I sat there running into a tombstone for the first 5 minutes. And then once I figured out how to jump over a tombstone, it was game on. Still never beat that fucking game though. Dragon Warrior 1 and 2. More Zeldas. I have the Zelda DX, which basically put color into Link's Awakening. They did a Game Boy black and white version of Link's Awakening. And then they did the DX version, which added some color to it. So I own that. These older Game Boy games I might actually LP someday. You know, when the DOS games are long done. Got the Seasons Zelda. Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. I gotta reorganize this, that's why I don't mind tearing it apart. This is my Game Boy Advanced SP. It's still in the box there. It's a silver edition. And then I also have the Nintendo DS Lite, the black edition. Mine actually has the Grim Reaper vinyl on it, which is pretty nifty. And then there, of course, is my 3DS XL with the Zelda. And then I have Heroes of Might and Magic, which is basically a dumbed down version. This is a XCOM game. Highly, highly recommend this if you have an advanced Game Boy Advance or a game, or you know, the GameCube that can play the Game Boy Advance adapter. This is essentially XCOM. I mean, this is XCOM. If you like XCOM, get Rebel Star. It's fucking XCOM. I promise you. More Castlevania, Circle of the Moon, Tetris, Lord of the Rings, Golden Sun, Metal Slug, Metroid, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I love my Phantasy Star. There's the collection of 1, 2, and 3. Fire Emblem is a great strategy franchise. I love all the Fire Emblems. I want to get the one for the 3DS. Altered Beast, my first Genesis game I ever owned, came with it. So I had to have Altered Beast. Lunar Legend, I'm a big Lunar fan, as most RPG fanatics are. Yoshi's Island, Golden Sun, Castlevania. Here's Zelda the Minge Cap. And yeah, and I also even have a Game Boy Color version of Blaster Master, another early Nintendo game I owned. So that's pretty much it, guys, for my handheld collection. Again, nothing serious. I don't play my handheld too often. It's more of something I take to the airport or lay in bed at night when I don't feel like fucking around on my iPad or watching a DVD. So let's get to the contest here. I have a list here that I'm going to cut up everyone's name. We have 85 entries, which is the most ever. So I'm going to give a shout out to every one of you right now. Gaming Paladin, Jane Blute, Sharpier 1. Oh, and by the way, forgive me if I fuck up your name and that's just Tough Titty. Foxio Games again. Tim Coolish, Full Metal Coyote, Ed Hell Dude, Shizig, Unadequatov, Wolfina, Jazzar, Five Fingered Heist. Where was I? Beyond Infinite, Zypher 357, Eldunk, Top Dog 72, Oblivion Hunter, Sparrow Batix, Riggs 212121, Nemolier, Daimuta, Blue Tengalnuta, also known as Blue Tanglenuts, Trance 715, Chastizingribook, Empire of the Earth, Dr. Damaz, Technophobit, Xenon 3120, Leonard Erasmus, Getter77, John Young, Mr. Satan, Shenty 999, Cholami, Mad Dog 15, Cy Art, Bad Wolf 359, Fredgen, Jonathan the Asshole, Spetsnaz FP, Kern Hurin, Connor Kersey, Joseph Carmody, Metal Dirt Monkey, Evil Baggins, 271828, and a bunch of other fucking numbers. You know who you are, you bastard. Get a real fucking username. Bradley Curry, Nathan the Fox, Cody Strokes, Thomas Milligan, Cato Larson, Steve Carr, the Chaos Ninja, Cfar 4 Edgy, Kepun Laughin 05, The Blue Days Green, Frost Wolf Pack, Werewolf Panzer, Jalmerix, Jason Poupard, Fadar 69, FFTT, Unknown Bob 123, The Cryptic Meta 64, Forstel, Eric Crow, Tornstein of Estal, Disciple of Web, Necris 7, Quackenstein Monster, Aphex 26, Cinnamon Spider, Lord Melkayar, Goblin Prince, Ownage Please, Moonhawk 0, Ligure, Gamecore Crusher, Mr. Booger Blood, Digital Dragification, Copernicus Computing, Darius Hellborn, Zan 2008, Tohan, and Kai 656, and last but not least, Tempest number 1. Alright folks, I'm going to chop you up into a bunch of different pieces and throw you in a cup. I'm going to draw 2 winners, and you can pick the different rewards, which can be the t-shirt if you'd like. I have the Humble Bundle. What else is there? You can pick the next game, which is going to follow basically directly after I complete whatever next LP, which will probably be Crusader. So if I beat Crusader, or when I beat Crusader, your game will start, and then of course, like I said earlier, I'll be doing Warcraft, Syndicate. Those kind of don't take precedence over what you pick. They're the next LP that falls in order when the fans haven't picked something. So if I happen to get done with Neverwinter Nights or Baldur's Gate 2, which is highly unlikely before Crusader, then it'll start after that. So I usually will run 3 LPs at once. If you both pick to have the next LP done, then the first person I draw basically is going to go first. The first name I draw is essentially going to go before the second name I draw. So that's just the way that's going to work. Or you can have a t-shirt sent to you for free. It doesn't matter. I've sent one to Russia. It took Mr. Satan 6 months to get one, but he finally got it. And it's not too costly. I think it cost me like, $20 plus the shirt. Also, I have a Humble Bundle, which is the adventure games, Edna and Harvey, New Beginning, and a couple others. Watch the last video if you forget what the prizes are. I mentioned them all there. So let's get down to business, shall we? Alrighty folks, here it is. The 2 winners of the 4,000 subscriber, 2 million views contest. Everyone's in there. All 84, 85 names. Let's shake it up nice and good. And let's pull out 2 names and see who the winner is. First winner. FFTT. FFTT, you're the first winner, bud. So you can just message me what you want, the Humble Bundle, a t-shirt with your address to ship it to, or if you want to pick the next LP to be LP'd, let me know. FFTT, you're the first winner. The second winner is going to be Leonard Erasmus. Leonard Erasmus and FFTT, you're the 2 winners. Leonard Erasmus, same deal, bud. Tell me what you want, and I'll make sure we get it to you. So congratulations to the 2 winners. Everyone else, thank you for playing, entering, commenting. I know you guys are going to keep watching no matter who wins the contest. I do that all for myself. It's 100% comes out of my pocket. We all know the Gamehorder doesn't really make a fucking dime on his channel. No advertisements. And that's the way I like to keep it. And unless, of course, I get big like PewDiePie. Then you goddamn well know I'm going to have advertisements, because I can retire and do 24/7 LPs for you guys. So congratulations again to the winners, FFTT and also Leonard Erasmus. Just message me your gifts, and I'll see you in LP land. I got Baldur's Gate 2 to shoot.